Oh my gosh. This is awkward. This is the bad thing about the lit stream. I accidentally hit live. So we are live. This is awkward.
Live? That's sweet, man.
No, not when
Expected, but,
nobody is here. Yeah, it's 10 minutes early. So
Sure.
people are just going to hang out and build with us. Wow, this is
Lovely.
not great. That's the one annoying thing about FanFest Live with it. Once you accidentally hit that button,
Yeah, man. It's all over for you.
it's there. And if only my show bros were a bunch that showed up earlier than normal, that they've done these shows so many times, they legit are just like, we're here 30 seconds before we go live.
Except for Fan 24 down there, clearly.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I signed up and everything.
So did I, man. So did I. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I'll get an Arsenal kit on. How do I turn my camera off? Give me 30 seconds.
It's okay. He can have the Man City emblem while he waits. Yeah. I mean, it happens.
Come on.
Wow, that was a real speedy change.
Yeah, wow. It was hanging on the back of my door, so it's not too much of a struggle. But
you always keep the kit close. Always keep the kit
dude,
close.
Honestly. Well, the thing is, I pretty much wear this thing exclusively on match days. I'm a very superstitious fan.
So that's the match day kit.
It's a match day kit. I've got a few ones from years before, but typically this is only worn for about 2 hours every weekend. So it stays nice and clean for the most part.
Yeah, I have a bunch of kits. Most of them are really destroyed because that's basically what I did when I finally started getting enough money to buy my own kits, because I'm the only person around here that I know that. I mean, I'm sure there are leagues and stuff like that, but I don't know any of those people. I've never been able to find or connect somehow. But yeah, I've just always watched the matches and always wore the same kit and every single week. And I was young and dumb. I didn't take care of it. I didn't know how to do it. I just threw it in the washer.
Didn't wash it in cold? Yeah. Come on.
So
rookie maneuvers.
Yeah, the kits are all nice and beat up. It is what it is.
There you go.
It is what it is. Oh.
All right, I'm gonna try this one more time. I'm not sure why the name's not showing up.
Yeah.
So you said go to home. I signed up.
Okay, yeah. Normally you have to have you refresh the browser as well in the back?
Yeah.
I would just X out.
Okay.
Come back on and I just do it.
Yeah, I clicked the same old link, but closed out everything first. So.
All right, I'll try something different.
See what goes. So where are you from, my man, of curiosity? Because y'all record in Central Time, so.
Yeah, I am in the Midwest. I call it, where we live is the Quad Cities. It's like Iowa, Illinois. And then Tarek is in Indiana. Tom Bomb's in Kansas City. Lando's in South Carolina. And Sharpie's out in the DMV area, Washington, Virginia.
Nice. Very cool. I'm from just outside of Washington, D.C. as well. So.
Oh, nice.
There you go. Yeah, East Coast.
Oh man,
some might say the best coast, but it's contentious.
I mean, I can ask Sharpie this now because he was living over in SoCal for a while.
Yeah, sure.
And now he's back over there, and he grew up in Virginia, so he's familiar with with both coasts to know which one would be the best coast.
There you go.
I'm in the Midwest. I have no coasts.
Yeah, I went to college out in Ohio, so I've got some Midwestern experience under my belt. But yeah, man.
Experience. I mean, I guess y'all get your own sort of winters as well, but Yeah,
Yeah.
those Midwest winters are another thing.
Nah, I mean, living in the swamp over here, we'll get like 1 or 2 snowfalls, and then it's about 30 degrees most days, which is not the normal. Friggin' Gambier, Ohio hit negatives starting in November, and that took us through probably March.
That's
Whole
crazy.
adventure, but yeah, it's the Midwest. It's just the
To
way
the
of life.
Midwest.
To the Midwest.
Yeah, me drinking. I mean, it's water.
Fair. I also have a beer sitting back behind the
As,
laptop.
as you should. I am going.
That'll be the move once I'm done with this whole shebang.
Are drink it while you're recording. I normally do, but I'm going on vacation this weekend,
Oh,
so I'm
sure.
saving any
liver poison for when that
yes
happens.
yes
There
when
you
I go
go.
out of town and check out the new breweries, and I'm
Sweet,
visiting
man.
family. So
You a big brewery fan?
yes, brewery. I love my cocktails. Yeah, I
Wow,
don't know what's going on. I got nothing for you, my
crazy.
guy.
Yeah. Yeah, not to flex my rep. That's my day job. I work at a brewery. So
Oh,
if you're ever out,
nice.
dude, if you're ever out in DC, this goes to everyone. But if you're ever out in DC, man, I'll treat you to a tour, grab you some free beers. I'm in. I'm
That's
easy,
right up my alley.
dude.
I was real deep in it. I still have rubber boots.
There you
I was
go.
I was doing an
Yeah,
apprenticeship for a little
yeah,
bit.
awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Yep, I did all that stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I started out backroom staff. I'm now on the sales team. It's a cool gig.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, yeah. Brewed a few beers. I had one named after me, a chocolate
Oh,
stout, like a chocolate
lovely.
cereal stout. It was real nice. It was a good time.
That sounds
And then
unreal. I'm a stout fan, so I'm with it. But
yeah, it was
yeah,
great.
man.
It was great. And they even barrel aged it for so that was really nice when I got tapped.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was a fun little experience.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love that stuff. That's beer, beer, good cocktail,
Oh,
just
dreaming.
chatting with friends. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Oh, we got it. Oh, we got it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Bingo.
Hit time's a charm.
And there we go.
Oh god.
There was actually one whole show where one guest was having mad tech difficulty. Either his camera would work or his audio would work,
But never both.
and
Never both.
never. And so he would just keep dropping out and dropping back on. He was supposed to be our first guest, and we tried him a couple times, and then we'd bring on another guest, and then that guest would leave, and then we try to bring him on a couple more times, and that would work. Then we brought on the next guest. It just we were crying laughing by the end, and we were aware that like laughing at his troubles isn't nice, but it's also the lit stream, so it's like you kind of just gotta laugh to also hold the guy. We apologized and we were like, sorry for your experience. We brought him back on. It was fine. Tech worked, but that was a yeah. I don't know what was going on there.
A whole adventure. Yeah, we've had my podcast. We've had some of those. There's basically 4 of us that split duties, usually in sets of 2 or 3. But damn, that's a setup. There you go. Holy.
Yeah, there's 5 of us, and we all show up when we can. I do a bunch of the shows, like the midweek shows. It's normally just me because I'm the one who does the main contact, and half the time it's people over in England. So the shows are at like noon to 3 o'clock. Yeah, so not everybody can get to that, understandably.
Cheers, 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 cheers.
Cheers.
Hey.
Cheers. Yeah, it's a good time.
Oof. There you go.
Man, tall boy.
Vamos, papa, vamos.
God, shit, I should open my beer now.
Yeah, please do.
Well, screw it.
We call it the lit stream. Everyone, it's a vibe.
Get to
there you go. There you go, Jude. Go get you some.
Plug my work buddy. There we go.
I love that John's wearing that kit. I gotta say that kit is an absolute beautiful
hard.
kit.
It goes hard.
Every year.
The little navy and gold details on it, they did well.
Agreed.
I'm obviously I gotta rep Adidas for the culture, but man, they do it well.
That's fair, yeah.
Nike come out with some bangers. I'm glad y'all are off that stupid like Man City Puma whatever hellish thing that template they had everybody doing last year. Oh,
The
awful.
the Puma, which is funny that you say that, because if you take the time to watch the Bundesliga, there's one team right now that has the exact same keeper. The
I
keeper
know it.
setup is weird. I got to look it up now because it's gonna bother me. But
So I'm a Bundesliga fan. That's
Yeah.
outside of the Premier League. That's my second love. So yeah, man.
been fun to watch this year.
Finally,
Man.
thank God.
I know.
After Dortmund choked at the end of last year, killing my dreams, but it's all right. I'm all about the Granit Xhaka revolution. Dude's denying Harry Kane his first trophy, making me so happy. I love it. I love it.
Granted, is a good story. I was hearing, what was it, like an episode of Stadio that they were pointing out where normally you would expect Granted to kind of like lose it in situations. He's the one who's kind of calming the situations down, and he really has embraced kind of the vet role in a different way, as opposed to in Arsenal. He was kind of like the shithouser, where here he's just the older, wise vet now.
It was interesting though to go from a point in 2019 where he got subbed off at Crystal Palace as the captain and told our fans to fuck off. Like going from that point to borderline club captain, leading us almost to a title. I mean, our midfield's finally turned it around, but we were feeling his absence at the beginning of this year. You know, it's interesting how much of a steady head he became once he realized that he didn't have to dive in and go for red cards every 30 seconds. It's amazing.
The roller coaster that is Granit Xhaka.
Oh my God, man. And I was such a fan of him because my German team is Borussia Mönchengladbach, which is where he came from, man. So like from day one, I was in on him, and then he did not give me reason to, but you know, end of the day, it all worked out.
Remember when Dennis Zakaria was balling for them, and he's yet to do anything since?
Well, yeah, because frickin' Marco Rosa had him playing at the base of a pivot where he had literally just free reign to dribble as much as he wanted. Dude was the ultimate press breaker. And then he would turn the ball over probably 10 times a match and recover it 8 of them, and it was fine. But
so good. I liked him a lot.
He is there. If there is one player, you know, unsuited to Allegri ball or however many coaches he played under at Chelsea, it's that guy. Ugh.
He's got such a good frame. I really have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's
I talk like he's old and done, but like I guess
but I mean
the window's kind of done for me personally.
But
I
like,
guess is what I'm saying.
But look how he plays for Switzerland, right?
Yeah.
You can see when you put him in a midfield 2 or 3 and you get him in close quarters where his let's say technical deficiencies don't necessarily get exposed as much. He looks like one of the best midfielders in the world. Yeah. You just got to have some serious ball players around him, because otherwise, if you want him to play anything more than 10-yard like passes along the ground,
it's not
he's
happening.
smashing out of bounds. It's rough.
Hey, let's go, John. Cracking one.
There you go. That sounded.
What is it, John? What is it?
Is that a tweet?
Oh no, I got some Weller and I'm chasing it with a sparkling water.
All right.
Nice.
Don't have any beer in the house right now.
Culture though, with the sparkling water. All right. Well, I guess it's just you and I, Lando. And honestly, you didn't know, Lando, because you got in when you got in. I was trying to say people's names and I accidentally hit start the show, so we actually have been live for a while.
Let's go.
Classic.
Like, it is what it is. This is the lit stream. I am Crunk Chocolate. I know the format is normally a little different, but when you accidentally hit start broadcast, the broadcast starts, and it is what it is. Mm-hmm. I'm here with Lando. We normally have our guests one at a time, but since we don't have our other show bros, I actually kind of like this. And then when Josh gets in here, it's just gonna be a full house, baby. Let's
go.
Vibes. This is the littest of streams. So I'm here for the people who are just listening to this. I'm here with Mac Johnson, John Tolbert. Mac, let's start with you. let people know a little bit about yourself and the club you support, how you chose the club that you support.
Sure. Well, what's up, y'all? Um, I am an avid Arsenal supporter. Come from just outside Washington D.C. And my story is pretty interesting. It goes back all the way to first grade. One of my best buddies, his dad for work had to work in London for a year. They all moved over there, came back, uh, and he was a diehard Arsenal supporter. I mean, he had old Jack Wilshere jerseys, wore Aaron Ramsey jerseys to like our rec soccer games. I mean, one of my best buddies. And what we would do, we would play soccer at like 10 a.m. in the morning, and then head on over to his house and watch the game after that. And that was a yearly tradition for us that, lasted for a lot of my elementary school life. And through that, I became an Arsenal fan, and I've been diehard ever since. Started the broadcasting part of things, podcasting back in 2020. You know, on one show, plug in another. I do record weekly with the Arsenal Canon podcast and some of the lovely folks over there.
Hey.
But outside of that, I'm mad excited to be here. It's a little bit of a rivalry, Some title race aspirations I think are going to
Is
clash
it?
in this one. I mean, I'd say so. We've beaten you
Sorry,
twice
it's the
this
lit
year.
stream.
That's all we're
It's the
saying.
lit
We've
stream.
beaten you
Okay.
twice this year.
Okay.
I'm standing on
Scoreboard.
business.
Is this
I'm
what we're doing?
standing
Is
on
this what we're doing?
business. Yeah, come
we
on.
don't-
Now
we don't-
starting early.
Come on.
Starting early.
It's literally
We don't-
concuss
we
one
don't
of our
wanna go to
players
the
and the
scoreboard,
ball happened to
though.
went
Oh,
into the
let's
goal.
go.
Well,
Let's
no,
This is what we're
there's
doing.
there's a whole host of 4 or 5 ones that I'm conveniently ignoring for the purpose of we're better this year. But it's a pleasure to be on. Pleasure to meet all you folks. Pleasure to be live. I'm used to recording in a dead space, so it's cool just to be talking to everybody. But yeah, I've been an Arsenal fan since I was about 8. And been through ups and downs, a lot of downs and some recent ups mainly. But yeah, just it's going to be good. Good to be chatting about another team. I think we've got some city themed content coming your way, at least from my portion of the program, and then can't wait to talk some general prem and just get into it all.
John.
I'm amped. Great
Dude,
intro.
come
Mac.
on.
Yeah. John, follow that up. Tell me a little bit more about you.
Yeah, I should have went first.
Oh, Hirsch.
All right, so I'll start back with the genesis. So I played soccer when I was a youth. Probably started out at like 7, little city league. Right, fell in love with it. And my friend at the time, he was from Africa. His dad was coaching us, and so like he saw some talent on there, and he started his own team called the Zulus. And I just really loved the game, and he would just put us all over the field. But he would make us watch. Like he had like a satellite in his backyard, and so he could get like some of the games. It'd be blurry, but he would like watch this player. This is what we need to be doing. Like he's trying to teach us tactics, and we're just like 8, and we just want gushers and Skittles. You know what I mean? So, but I fell in love with the game not because I was watching it on TV, but just like how fun it was. Like it just felt easy to just be out there running, scoring goals, celebrating with friends. Like it was just fun. And then I started pursuing, traveling teams where you had to like try out and stuff. And so I was playing some select soccer where you travel like all over the country. Shout out to the Columbus Blast, Coach Les. And that was fun. But, again, I wasn't able to see it on TV. Like at that level, it wasn't fun anymore. Like the practices, you get there and you think you're just going to be dribbling and playing. No, you got to run. You got to do all this stuff. And it's like, this isn't fun anymore, And so I kind of walked away from it a little bit. But to speed it up a little bit, how I fell in love with the game and my team, Real Madrid. In high school, 2002, Zidane, Real Madrid versus Bayern Leverkusen, that one goal, it was a highlight. And I was just like, man, like, that's just a crazy goal. And I knew of Zidane. Obviously, you couldn't see him here in the States as much as possible, unless, World Cup and all that stuff. But, man, I was just like, man, I really like how this dude, is out here moving and, just seeing the fans. And so I just did a little research and like Real Madrid was this they just spoke to me for some reason, and this is during the Galacticos era, so it's just like they were like the Bulls, you know what I mean? At the
They
time,
spoke to the world at the time.
yeah, you know what I mean?
I was about to say, I wonder why. Like, you know what
right.
I mean?
So they're getting all the attention, so it was like in my face. But again, I wasn't really able to watch it, and it was like around that time, like you had to have like occasionally Fox Sports would show like Champions League games or like those teams. So I just started following along. I fell in love with watching soccer. After that, I was playing like Sunday League and stuff, just just to get it out. But I fell in love with the team so much that like I'm a Real Madrid member card holder. I've been to the stadium to see the games. Like I told my wife like, hey, we're going to Spain for you, but it was really for me.
There you go.
And ever since then, man, I just been connecting with people that are involved with the sport. I used to be part of a podcast called The New Ultras. Shout out to my guy Tulson. And I just even my like online presence is just around soccer, right? Like I do marketing and stuff like that, but I don't want to deal with that. Like everything I do, all the content is just soccer. So Real Madrid, La Liga is there's just so much history. A lot of players, like, we all represent like different leagues and teams, and like there's some kind of connection with all the leagues, right? Like even Man City, like Kun Aguero, like I remember him with Forlan, like they were elite at Atletico Madrid, right? Like a lot of the players, like for a lot of the Prem leagues, like they were stealing our best players from La Liga and put them on our team, and they'd be like Santi Cazorla. I'm sorry.
Baller.
Well, you're right about Cazorla. He's my boy. I mean, streets will remember that man.
Right? Like for real, like when he was at Arsenal, he was cooking. Yeah, like I didn't think he could get any better than when he was at Villarreal, but he was amazing. So it's just cool that way. Like I like La Liga because it may not be the most popular league, but like there's a lot of talent in that league, and so when they do go to the Prem or Bundesliga or somewhere else, like they're like, oh, I remember that guy. Like I'm glad to see him doing something good over there or something like that. So that's one story. I played. I'm washed now. I try to play, but now I obsessively just get involved with anything football related. So yeah.
You got a lot of La Liga stands out there that will make a strong argument that La Liga is still one of the top clubs or the top leagues in the world. Just with the talent that's in there and talent that's potentially coming in there. I'm thinking of a particular Ninja Turtle that I think is going to be potentially wearing a white kit soon. So, I mean, moves are being made. So, I don't know. La Liga, here it comes, right? Because again, you can make the argument 4 years in a row if his city handled business, it's getting to that Farmers League statement, right? I mean, what are we talking here? Genuinely.
I mean, we got a title race. That's all I'm saying. We got a 3-horse title race. Huh. It's gonna come down to the wire, I think.
Of course.
I mean, I hope, frankly.
Yeah, and that's exciting. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm with it.
My league is kind of it's not over till it's over, but La Liga hasn't really been that competitive. Like Girona is a great story. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Top 4 aspirations for them, though.
Manchester City owned. Let's not forget.
I know.
Yeah. Oh no, we know. Trust me, we know. We talk about it a lot.
That's brother. It's a family affair. It's a family.
We love
it. Shame they can't make the Champions League.
But like Barcelona, with all their stuff, they're just like, who knows what's happening to them? Xavi's leaving. Like, I'm sure some players they're going to have to sell some players. Atleti were looking strong. And they're falling off a little bit too. So it's just like, it's not as competitive as it should be. And like, this is a Real Madrid team that's lost Courtois, Eder Militao, Alaba. Like we're missing so many players and we're still winning games. I'm not saying with ease, but like, it's just like, so I want to give credit to Carlo for like managing this situation, but also it's just like the league is down a little bit this year. I have to admit that it's down a little bit, and I think we saw that like yesterday when we faced Leipzig. Like we haven't really had like a true test like that in league competition in a while. And like to be honest, like I know we're a great team and we've done this before in that run against like Chelsea, PSG to end up winning, but yesterday scared me. Yesterday really scared me because Leipzig, if they could finish, they would have gone through. I mean, they had so many shots on target, it was ridiculous. So they just can't finish, and shame on them. But I'm worried. And then,
Well,
Yeah. His
yeah.
internet only allows a certain amount of Madrid slander. Only
well,
it don't, it,
I want to actually stay there because I know you're worried about how Madrid looks. But on our last recording, we've kind of been talking about just overall City haven't been winning big. Yes, we had the Luton score in 3-1, a lot of 3-1s, but many very close, tight games. Some most where we win. Villa was our last loss. People were very upset about that. I know. I sound so spoiled. Sound so spoiled. But the conversation is still carrying on from that loss. That people are upset about the scoring and how they're doing. We are really just like we need to win by any means necessary. Winning the treble last season, this whole season itself, the whole campaign should be vibes. We should be celebrating the fact that we've won what we've won, done something that hasn't been in a very long time. If we win the Premier League, the quadruple with the quad that I'm going to call it, that has never been done. These are we are setting new standards, and everyone can literally say whatever they want, but I don't care. I'm literally an evil person, so every bad thing you try to get at me, 115, I'm just like, do one. Like I don't really get upset because we still lift the trophies, we still win, and in the end, I think that 115, all this other stuff that people want to say, it's just excuses to make people feel better for their team not winning. Like if you have to knock us down to lift yourself up, fine, do whatever you got to do, my guys. And like that's how I feel about all this stuff. I'm tired of feeling having actually I don't feel away, but like having to feel a certain way for winning or having an asterisk by our stuff. It's silly. It's stupid. Like it's all billionaire nonsense, and we're just people supposed like. Do we just want to watch the game, or do we want to talk about like finances and stuff like that? People like doing both, even though they'll be like, I just want to be a fan, but then they want to talk about billionaire bullshit. And so that's kind of what like annoys me a little bit. But I also know it's like
I
part of
mean,
banter nowadays.
billionaire bullshit's a hell of a fun time when you're talking about Chelsea, to be honest now. But
there we go.
Exactly.
$1 billion bottle job.
100
That's my kind
you
of
know,
bullshit right there.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. But what think American sports? What massive franchise that has been winning it a lot in recent years has not had some controversy? You want Patriots Deflategate? You want the Astros cheating scandal? Like, you got to get your hands dirty at a certain point to succeed at the highest level. And
Okay.
I don't. I like.
What I will say, ours is accounting errors that they're trying to put on us, my guy. Like, do not put Deflategate.
No.
That's why I'm saying
not.
it's literally billionaire
It's
nonsense.
no. It's
like
it's accounting errors.
It's silly,
Frankly,
stupid stuff.
half of the charges are y'all paying your coaches too much. Like, it's not to do necessarily with the players. Even it's
That part.
and there is something to be said for the fact that you guys have pretty much set the standard for what not only beautiful football looks like, but like the amount of managers and coaches that idolize Pep's system for however many years, but especially at City. You've refined, controlled, dominant football in a way that no one else can really replicate. There's something to be said for that, and there's something to be respected
Arsenal's
about
trying.
it.
I agree.
And well, yeah, but I'd say we're going about it a different way. There's more pragmatism, I think. A lot more defensive solidity, which is crazy if you look at the numbers right now, man.
Yeah.
Gotta hype that up.
Yeah, speaking of the coaches and just the identity of City, like, I've always been curious, like, what happens to Man City when Pep says he's done? Like, is what we're seeing today the identity of Manchester City, or is it the identity of Pep? I
That's
think
a great question.
I think
That's a
clubs.
great question to ask.
I think clubs and I only ask this because Real Madrid has a way, that we bring in managers, we throw them away, but like Real Madrid, the standard, the play on the field, the players coming in remains the same, and a little bit of that has to do with Florentino Perez. But even before him, we've had other presidents. Real Madrid has been Real Madrid. So
Con cuidado, él es el presidente. Con cuidado. I'm telling you in Spanish, be careful, he is the president. Be careful, he is the president. That is your guy. Watch your words.
President of the
Hey,
Super League.
I hold a membership card.
Yes,
He's in my pockets. He's in my pockets. But seriously, like I've always thought about it, like Man City has done amazing things. You know, honestly, I mean, not in a short amount of time, but like with that spin and just the way it goes. But again,
I mean,
I've just always wondered, like,
in 15 years, you know?
Yeah, like what happens when Pep goes away? Like, what happens to the identity? What happens to the allure of the club? And I don't think you guys need to think about that. And I hear what you're saying, Crunk. Like, you know, we setting a new standard. And we kind of have a standard too, right? Mm-hmm. So I just wonder, like, if Pep goes away and you guys don't win as much or have as much success, what do the fans do then? What happens to the culture then? What happens to this Man City in general? Like, when you say Man City, do people fear them as much and more because Pep's not leading the line, or, you know? So I've always been curious about that, and it's not a shot at you guys. It's just like, because Pep gets so much attention, almost more than the club sometimes.
Right. And that's with, you've made incredible points, something that I can acknowledge as a City fan we have to be considerate of. But it's and I can tell you right now, Crunk's already trying to think of the fact that it's really simple for us from City fans' perspective. Yes, there's a focus on Pep from the outside, but brother, we sing Tiki's praises day in and day out. We are well understanding of what Ferran Soriano and what Khaldoon means to this club and what they've been able to do. This train ain't stopping anytime soon. Actions speak louder than words. And if you want to just look at how we've acted with the money that we're still spending, tells you everything on how we feel about those fucking charges. We're completely fine with where we're going and how we're doing it. The day comes where they want to prove a Bernie Madoff level type accusation and an independent courtroom that's going to decide on Premier League sport, and you're going to charge criminal charges to that and bring it to that. Have fun. Enjoy it. Basically, our academy and everything gets run with the tactics of Guardiola, but the system at this point was winning before our great Joseph, and it will be winning after our great Joseph. Who runs that and how it's going to be done? Very much a topic of conversation for some of us at times, specifically when we get frustrated with lineups and João Cancelo having an attitude and getting sent out the club in a January window, and all of us are like, what the fuck's going on? And then we go on to win the treble. Boom, by the way, if Vegas odds out there, promo code bet with us, treble being said 2.5 times. It's on the over, baby. Hey.
We'll drink to that. But yeah, I also, to that point, you know, if you look at the business City have done, outside of a few maybe questionable purchases, I'm thinking Danilo among them, maybe Benjamin Mendy, but that's different reasons.
Danilo I defend because it was a swap for João. It ended up being
for Cancelo, exactly.
Yeah.
My point is that
you could have went Mangala.
Exactly.
You could have went some other names there,
Mike. Brother. Well, no, but I mean, but even Mangala back in the day, right, had a lot going for him. I could name Nicholas Otamendi.
There you go. Could not stand the guy.
We're not going after the general. We're not doing that. No, we don't go after the general.
Different here. I would fight Otamendi. Crunk and I would probably go throw hands over Otamendi because he defends him so much. He loves him some Nicholas, and I cannot stand that guy.
Some people just love a bastard, and that's life. Yeah. My point being, though, how many City signings have not paid their way, have not done what they're meant to do, like in terms of steals, in terms of astute market buys? I mean, look at the current team. Hell, think about someone like Julian Alvarez, right? This dude's like a 60-70 million pound striker. They got him for friggin' pennies on the dollar.
19.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's pennies. Like the fact that you guys got him for 19 in a summer when we purchased Jesus from you for 35. I'd say they're of a similar caliber of player, except Alvarez can actually finish. Like, You know what I mean? It's
Well, Alvarez is
at
that
a certain
straightforward.
Alvarez is that guy. At a certain point, y'all like the business you do outside of all of the accusations and everything. You're run by some seriously smart people. Not to mention how many City Academy products are balling for championship teams, for low-level Premier League teams. For the past 3 years, some of the best young talent that we've seen come through the Prem have come from the City Academy. And it's nothing, when you think academies, you think, oh, Man United, you think Hale End at Arsenal. Liverpool's academy gets hype all the time because of the way that Klopp uses their young kids. But really, the growth within Manchester City's academy in the last decade is frightening to behold in the way that it's actually affecting the current generation of the Premier League.
Yeah. Thank you for Brahim Diaz, by the way. Appreciate that.
You're very
On
well,
God,
like,
dude's a stud.
honestly, we were talking about that a little bit ago, but it's just the City football group. You can just be watching a random football match, and there's some player that was a part of our academy or some part of City somehow. It's getting wonderful and beautiful. I love it very much because it makes me a little more intrigued and more teams. But we have a new competitor, a new person arriving, and it was 2-2. It was two City fans, and then we had Arsenal and Real Madrid. We about to outnumber y'all again. The most
we gotta link up, Matt. We gotta link up, man. We gotta
Kiss the badge, John. Kiss the badge, baby.
This is his second time being on the Lit Stream. I'm super excited to have him on.
A two-timer.
Two-timer. Josh Crutchmer.
Two-timer.
What's
How's it
up?
going, homie? How's it going? Yes,
Man,
happy to get you on here. Yes.
Going great. I was enjoying just listening to y'all.
Yeah. So are you at home? I feel like you're always somewhere doing something fun. So what are you up to right now?
By the absolute luck of the draw, I'm at home. I am.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I have like a rare 2 weeks in New York. It's weird, like always being gone when home is the city that never sleeps. But I write about all these musicians from the Midwest and the South, and I always have to go to their shows because they rarely come here. And then at some point in and around. The fun thing about traveling, though, is I get to see people like you all over the country and go to all the different supporters clubs. And with that said, I'm going to be at Amity Hall on Sunday because that's the home base.
There you go.
Let's go. Sky Blues flag right there, banner right there. Let's go. Let's go.
Hang on, I got a scarf at least. We'll do a scarf.
Let's go.
I was about to say, I think right background to my setup, I still got that scarf hanging up on the door.
I partly see it. Your name Mac is covering it up, but I do see it. Let's go, Josh.
Now hold on.
I love our home scarf.
Yep. It's like when we fix this. Man, okay. Where were we? It was a fun conversations were all over the place. Let's start here with the Champions League. It's a good time for most of us. It's
give it a week. Give it a week. All right.
I'm on the Champions League. Let me go get my Porto. I'm drinking beer. I have to switch to wine real quick.
Porto about a whole 5 at the Emirates. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah. If I had to say who's leading the pack right now, at least in this tournament, it's Arsenal and City. I mean, now I have to say, these draws were awful. There was some action, right? But you kind of knew what was going to happen. There are a little bit of
Did you get Copenhagen every year? At least once. It's group stage or it's knockouts.
But you know what? I think Karma's going to come back. They going to face up with somebody.
Karma? Did you not see who we had to go through last season? Karma? Is this what we're doing?
Yeah. I wasn't even gonna say that. I was actually just gonna let's acknowledge through our lumps
history.
We had to take the L's against Olympico Lyon. We had to take these L's against these other clubs that we've lost that we should have beat.
I forgot about that.
I mean, come on, man. These are moments to where we took our we ate our hits, bro, and we moved forward and we prevailed.
Yeah.
And last year, I mean, like Krunk said, come on, or was about to say,
y'all got put on the crazy side of the bed.
Was the death rotation.
It's about time. Y'all needed that though.
Y'all needed something challenge.
Y'all needed
You guys
that.
know, we're either drawing Bayern or PSG in the quarters, right?
Oh,
It's a
1,000%.
done deal,
Yeah,
right?
Well,
that's
you'll
what I'm saying.
kick you'll kick
It's
the
coming.
life out of
Damn it,
Bayern. They're
Josh is so right
terrible
on
this
this.
year. Bayern are
Yeah.
awful this year. That'll be
Actually, you're right. Yeah, and I was going to ask. So when we inevitably draw Bayern or PSG, would you rather blow them out or beat them in a timeless classic?
No, I want vibes. I want to beat them down in the first match away at that. I want to win like 4-1 on the road, and everybody knows Tuchel's leaving, but all the
Right.
questions will be like, is he leaving tonight? I want that.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah. I
Send
selfishly
people
want to see
home.
y'all take out of that selection or that hypothetical. I think I would love to see PSG just because I like the I'm going for the new era of the world class players, right? Like Mbappe, Haaland.
This guy's got Mbappe coming to him on a silver platter, and
Yeah, I want to
was
see
bragging
that.
about
I
him.
want to see them go ahead
little
because
Ballon
just
d'Or
think about
derby.
it, man. Every like we had Ronaldo, Messi. We've had we just had some great rivals. It's always been like two dudes, right? And like who's next in this new era for this? And I think it's up in the air. Like you got Haaland and Mbappe. I mean, Phil Foden's kind of stepping up a little bit. Kane. I mean,
This
there are
year.
Jude,
Hey,
right?
you
There's
just
a
say a
lot.
30-year-old man with a bunch of 20-year-olds?
Yeah, I mean, they're next
Huh?
up. So selfishly, I would want to see that, especially with Mbappe kind of last dance with PSG and everything. That unless Luis Enrique takes them off at halftime again if it's getting ugly or whatever. But yeah, I would selfishly want to see that. I would want to see that.
I mean, I'd love that personally. I don't know. I think PSG, they're a team that focuses so heavily on the attack, right? Like we rarely see them in situations where they actually have to, play on the counter and play dynamic football because they tend to just be better than every team they face, especially in Ligue 1. So I don't know. I think City have proven that they might be the most dominant side in football this year. They've also proven that they've got a few weaknesses when people are quick in behind them. And if there's one player that I would really fear being quick in behind my team, it might be Kylian Mbappe. Not to mention Ousmane Dembele's finding form. Their midfield's looking pretty stout this year. I think if I were to go away, I'd want to see PSG City, especially y'all didn't face them last year, did you? No. When's the last time you've played PSG in the Champions
2
League? I
years
think
ago.
years ago. I was about to say, I thought it was. I think it's been a minute, but it'll be, that was with Neymar, and it'll be interesting to see how a more maybe industrial team works against you guys.
I guess, Josh, you presented the question. Who would you rather have between the two clubs?
I actually think, look, everything you said is exactly right, and PSG is probably the more fearsome of the two. But I also think right now, City they're the hunted, they're the big dog, and Bayern is still crazy talented, right? And their only choice they have is to go all in on the Champions League, and I'd rather not be hunted by Bayern and Tuchel, with this being, it for them this season with the talent they have. Um, I think I I think everything you said about PSG is spot on, but I just think City are better. And so if I get my choice, send me to Paris,
undoubtedly.
the Parisians to Manchester.
And I just don't want the Sane to Man City and that just the
Yeah, we
all the
get enough
City
of that,
fans.
right?
I'm so
Too much.
over it. And if we have to do that between two legs, and especially if he does really well, or even worse if he does awful, because then they'll be like, because I feel like either way they're gonna say Sane to City. If he does well, they'll be like, all right, we gotta bring him back. And if he does bad, they'll be like, all right, now we'll get him cheaper. Like I feel like either way, it's gonna end up to Sane at City. So I just much rather not play the club. Just avoid them altogether.
Do y'all really need another left winger? That's the real question. Do
We
you
need a
need
right
another
winger,
left
but we just
winger?
got Savio.
Exactly.
Honestly, we'll see with Grealish, but I don't know with the money and the expectations. I don't know. He's doing great, and I love Mans, but with the price tag that we brought him in, his injuries, expectations, it's getting real hot for him. He hasn't been enjoying this season because of the extra layer of responsibility and expectation of him from Pep. I don't know. I just worry about him from there, especially because the way that he plays, he's a big confidence person. And KDB already
100%.
stole his hairstyle, so I feel like he's just real down in the dirts.
I mean,
He did.
What are we thinking about long hair KDB? By the way,
I personally
Bro is
love it.
reborn.
I
It,
love
it makes his crosses look even better
Yeah,
because
it's better.
the hair like
Definitely
moves
blew up.
up and
Got a
kicks.
little bit
He
of,
glowed up.
bit of movement up top.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
when you get an action shot of his crosses now, the hair is sort of like going in the opposite direction of the ball. Like it's a straight line from the back of his hair to the
You think it lets him put more bend on that thing? Lets him
I
just
think it actually
keep the
does.
spot a little bit extra.
A little extra physics.
Yeah. Exactly.
Way more confidence. The world doesn't need a more confident KDB.
It definitely.
I personally would not want a more confident KDB. I'll be the first to say it. Let me kick my ego to the curb.
I can't believe. Here's the thing that KDB is obviously is breathtaking to watch. I'm very glad he's on my team, but his lasting legacy is going to be like people have to lay down under the wall now. Isn't at some point he's just going to kick the ball at somebody's face at some point, right? He's going to, or at least like right in the middle of their back, so that the ball leaves an imprint, right?
Oh, just back in the days, the old like miter footballs. Just thigh killer.
I wonder who the club. I would feel like that's a United game where they're just being an asshat the entire time, going back and forth, and someone puts one of their new kids down there laying down another midfielder that they're trying to say is an ex-KD. And he just launches the ball right at
the team, buddy.
Yeah.
How degrading is that in training? Like now, like you're like, all right, time to practice defending free kicks, and then somebody has to be like, okay, your job is to lay down.
Well, my favorite is now that the guy who lays down is the guy that's like communicating with the freaking keeper. Like the keeper's like, you on the ground, tell the folks in the wall to move left. It's not good enough. Like, it's the double dose, man.
So you're just down there like, guys, move. He said move over.
Ederson's looking at Foden, paint me like one of your French girls and move the wall 2 feet to the left. Like, what are we doing here?
You know what's funny about this whole conversation right now is that Europeans are probably listening to this and they're like, these dumb fucks are making this conversation when they have American football, when they have literally a holder for a field goal. That guy's entire job is just to get the ball and hold it for the kicker.
Hey, he is a backup.
That's probably right. Yeah,
I feel like that's Pep's new invention. He'll have.
He was spending time with Joe Mazzulla.
I know.
There it is.
And spent a few days in
go.
Manchester. Pep is known to have drawn inspiration from handball, and I am intrigued. And I think it really could work, especially with us just facing new and different variations of low block. That's all we get now. It's just cool, trendy, recent versions of you guys are starting to understand that, like, for real now. And that's all teams know what to do is for 2 banks of 5, 3 banks of, or 2 banks of 4, and roaming people on the edges. It's frustrating and it's annoying. And fast movement, the ball playing, how to make a 3-pointer, the long dink pass to maybe to Haaland, maybe Mazzulla. They're both brilliant people, so they probably speak a language that I would love to listen to, but it would take me a couple of times to understand what's going on. Let's move out of Champions League. I want to get out of here. And Mac, I want to actually do this whole game of stick or twist.
Oh, I love this game.
Because what is stick or twist? It sounds very violent. I'm scared.
It is less violent and more British, which might just mean it's more violent. But the game is simple, right? looking at contracts, you only have one contract in your squad expiring at the end of the season. That's Scott Carson. I'm not really sure y'all give a shit about re-signing him.
Oh,
Must
But
have
don't do that.
vibes.
Don't do that. Don't do
Must
that.
have.
Hey, man.
No, don't do
But-
that.
Must
but
have
You're gonna get into
signature.
trouble.
There you go.
Nope.
But what I'm saying is the game of sticker twist is simple. Entering this summer, you guys are going to look at, I think it's 3 or 4 players who have contract situations with 1 year left on their deal and a few players with 2 years left. And that's kind of the optimal sell window, right? When you either decide, I want to re-sign this player, I want to stick with them for the foreseeable future, or this is the time to invest, get them out, and then bring in a replacement. So I was just thinking, run through some of those, see how we're doing. The first player on my list expiring in 2025 would be Mr. Stefan Ortega, who, despite the nature of his name, is German and is also 31. I had it in my head that he was young somehow because he was brought in as Captain Ederson backup. No way. So for the City fans out there, but also John, if you've got some stake in this, what do we think about Stefan Ortega? He's pretty much your cup keeper. He's the second coming of Zach Steffen, maybe with a little bit of passing ability added to that whole stir pot.
What are you
But-
doing? That
The
is so
disrespect.
what
The
are we doing?
disrespect
This
is
an
just
argument,
well,
man.
let's
next
well,
level.
well,
This
then
is
let's
an
talk.
argument. This is what we're
And
doing.
his
This is-
contract expires in a year. What are you guys doing? You think it's re-sign, or you think he's out of here?
No, he's out of here because he wants to get out of here. He
Yeah.
deserves,
Yeah, I think
even
he'll be out of here.
I
I would love to keep him. He's gone.
Fair enough, man. Any replacements in the market? Anyone you see is maybe
Well,
someone a little younger?
I don't know if we can find a keeper that can go through the entire FA Cup without conceding a single goal from open play. Do not
Reasonable.
compare that man to Zach fucking Steffen. That is absurd, Mac.
Colorado Rapids legend. Let's not forget.
Yeah, MLS. Stay there. Christ
I
almighty.
love this. I love this.
Orlando's heated up. This is why I'm here, man. I'm here for the controversy.
God,
That's all it
that's
is.
that. I love the game, though. By the way, the game is absolutely incredible.
Hey, man, we gotta represent.
Look, obviously, the keeper that I would like us to sign, I don't know who he'll be to replace Ortega, but maybe in 2 years it would be. I would just like us to go buy back James Trafford and be done with it. But we'll see.
Hey,
Friendly's
it's a great
James
name.
Trafford. I love
Just,
it.
oh, yeah, great name. Yeah,
I love him. No, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah.
he's got an interesting role though this year, doesn't he, James Trafford? He's
Yeah.
kind of filling that, like Burnley. I feel like are doing the same thing as Southampton did last season, where it's buy all the young kids, bunch of academy products, see if they can string something together. I mean, that did really well for Romeo Lavia. Now at Chelsea, big fee. So you think Trafford goes for something similar? I don't know.
I think probably. I don't know how long our buyback lasts either, but I know we have a sell on. So yeah, I think that's the plan. But I sure liked him in our academy, even though he's named after our rival stadium, which is weird.
Right. I didn't
Being
know that.
Well, next on that list is a 32-year-old Kevin De Bruyne. I'm guessing it's just re-sign and move on to the next player.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, perfect. No contention there. Let's talk Kyle Walker then. Here's my interesting one.
Ooh, now this-
We're done with the 2025 players, or Ortega and De Bruyne are the two with contracts expiring in a year. But talk to me about Kyle Walker. Been in the club since 2017. He's getting a little slower, can't defend as well. Where do you see his future?
Man, I'll shade. Josh, what's your thoughts on this situation on KDB?
Look, I've been writing Kyle Walker off for like the last 3 years, and then every time I do, he comes back into the side and locks his spot down all over again. But I do think we're pushing him all the way to his limit with this quasi midfield role, and I think if Pep somehow signs an extension, I think Kyle Walker does leave because I think Pep just doesn't want to use a right back that way. I think he wants somebody more in Rico's mold. But I think if Pep goes, I think we probably keep Kyle. And frankly, I would like to keep him. I don't think he's going to be able to play with the pace that he still plays with, certainly 2 years from now. But I do think he'd have a spot. And, we have a pretty decent track record in recent years. Again under Pep of players in their middle 30s still making insanely valuable contributions. So I'd probably like to see him stay. but I don't think they're going to be able to use him the way they're using him now in 2 years because it's being forced as it is.
Yeah.
Club
Right.
legend? Club legend?
Oh,
See, I would
yeah.
give him a statue. I would give him one of those mosaics.
Yeah.
I'd give him one of those mosaics.
I'd say y'all keep him. I mean, Pace now's there, but he ran down Rashford the other day.
He sure did.
After he got 30 balls played in behind him, they targeted him every single
I know,
time.
they went after him. They went after him.
Yeah, no,
And then Euros coming up. Yeah, I'm sure he, sees what happened with the Euros.
It's all right. Southgate will play him at center back. I wouldn't worry about that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it depends on how he gets used up in that, and like if his legs are just done after that. But yeah, I mean he's solid. It's not like he's terrible, even though he's getting older. But he's solid. I mean he's still making y'all line up.
Nobody can displace him.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
what right back does? He might be the only wing back you have in your entire squad.
Oh yeah, no, on our squad, no. And
that's what I mean.
If Rico was 3 inches taller, he would have had the job a year and a half ago.
Rico's a midfielder, personally.
That's what I'm saying.
I think he plays center midfield more than
his athleticism just isn't there. There was a moment specifically yesterday where him and Bob kind of messed up on a pressing situation, and there was just a counter. And you just see Lewis. He's running as hard as he can. He's trying, but everyone's just getting further away from him. And you're just like, oh, you poor dude. It's so unfortunate. I want us to truly embrace it and bring in like a Frimpong type of person. Like I want us to just fully embrace it.
Full wing back vibes.
But because we're going to need someone like that who... If we're going to be putting Savio on the right, and we're going to need someone who he can play off of, but also that in theory should be KDB. But if you put KDB over there and we lose the ball, Savio and KDB, they're both not hustling back on defense. Savio will learn; he'll get there, but at the beginning, like Daku's still
he's also young,
that.
You know
exactly. Oh, yeah,
he's young. He's got room to grow.
Hey, but it is what it is, though. That's what I'm saying. Like
100%.
At that moment, I just don't see him tracking back as intensely as would be needed.
Yeah,
I'm all in on Jamal Musiala. That's the only person that I care about that's coming to City.
Have a number 47 and a number 41 in the mid or 42 in the midfield. Kind of tight. I can't lie.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm not gonna lie. If y'all get him, I'm gonna be upset.
I was about to say he's who I want to partner Declan Rice, dude. Give us a 41 and a 42 with Odegaard. Oh, nasty! It's nasty.
It's I've been pushing it for a while now, and then I made the tweets back in September, so that's my bookmark where I can be like, I called it, but now I'm just getting louder and louder. It's happening. I don't know if it's happening, but he moves me way more than Wirtz or even Paqueta, but the whole City has had this war chest of money that they have been supposedly going to splurge on a bunch of people for 3 years now. And is this the season? Especially with this Netflix deal, because I feel like low key, depending on how well that does, you can just say Netflix gave us $1 billion from that, and
Netflix don't pay their producers shit. If you're looking for money from Netflix, you're going the wrong way about it.
I'm doing the Mike Tyson fight with that YouTube guy with the Jake Paul. They stop in money. If we're raking in money, we can say whatever we want, and we just have to believe it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I'll say this last thing about Walker. I think just looking at your current back line, if Pep values experience back there, that's the biggest piece of currency for Walker to remain there.
Yep.
That's what Scott Carson's for.
I mean, I feel like that's the only reason why we don't even
King.
We haven't even attempted to replace Carvajal and Lucas Vasquez. I mean, push him back. He's up there too, but I think you guys have a solid back line. I think whoever you replace Kyle Walker with will be fine. But sometimes, especially with the way you guys play and this, the demands of Pep and the tactics, so I feel like you just need that leader, that experience back there.
I agree with that. I always thought that would end up being Ruben Diaz, but it's kind of proven to be Kyle Walker instead, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean,
John,
yeah.
actually, I want to I want to keep the stick or to. Oh, sorry, I'm butchering the title of it, but I
So
want to
good.
stick it. But I want to move it to Real Madrid because I want to get
Yeah,
into
Oh,
those
sure.
because they specifically have two legends, two old boys, and especially the Modric. It looks like they're keeping Cruz and potentially trying to boot out Modric. How do you feel about that decision? Do you feel like they should keep? Are they keeping the wrong person? Are they keeping the right person? Should they boot both their old asses out and allow your young black kings, Los Negros, to thrive?
I Luka Modric is a club legend. He still has talent. I think he can perform at a high level, but only a short amount of time for minutes. He's put a lot of miles in, and I think World Cups, Euros, and him being like the leader and just staying on for full 90s for Croatia forever have caught up to him.
Mm.
And so I just don't think there's any possible way for him to stay around and contribute the way he wants to, right? Like you can see the passion out there. Like when he scored that winner for us a couple weeks ago, like you can see the passion out there. Like he loves the club, he wants to be out there. But we've done this with Marcelo. We did this. Well, we didn't really do it with Ramos, but we should have. But I think between Toni Kroos and Modric, Toni Kroos offers a little bit more because Kroos, he's just so good on the ball. Like he's one of those players that he doesn't have to be athletic. His mental awareness, his tactical ability, he just knows where everybody is, and his passing and his ability for free kicks it's an asset for us. And Camavinga can't do that right now. He could, maybe. There are glimpses, but like the game against Leipzig, like we subbed them off after halftime because it was really bad. So I'd rather keep Cruz over Modric right now, and I'm sure some of my fellow Madristas are like, "You're crazy," but I think Tony has found a second win because he was thinking about like he was getting ready to walk away from international football, and he kind of was talking and saying and to the media like this is probably it for me. Whereas Luka, was demanding more time, having conversations with Carlo, like I want to be on the pitch, like these young kids shouldn't be replacing me. And so I think Luka's having a hard time with it because he's kind of been so up here all the time. I think he still has a chip on his shoulder. Remember he came he after his first year at Real Madrid, like the media said he was the worst signing in recent league history. So I think he's carried that chip with him his whole career with us.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever gone away. So I think it's one of those situations where it's just like he's one of those players that's just not ready to accept what's in front of him. So Toni Kroos, just because he can get away with not being flashy, scoring all the goals, that's never been him. Where Luka kind of has to dominate games and be put in situations where he's like contributing at a high level when it comes to like the attack, where Tony kind of just sets up the play. And you can do that till you're 40. I mean, Pirlo did that forever. Right. Yeah. So you can get away with that playing like that if you have that technical ability. I'm not saying Luka doesn't have the technical ability, but he doesn't play like that. He just doesn't do that. So he runs a lot and it's just caught up to him, sadly.
I mean, Tony's never been fast though, has he? That's the real thing, He's kind of always had that orchestrator vibe to him. So
yeah,
I think he's easier to stick with in some senses.
Yeah. German Pirlo, that's
though I prefer
this
Luka
conversation.
Modric,
that's what I would say right now. I mean, obviously Toni Kroos is his own person. I don't really compare him to anybody.
Of course.
Maybe Xabi Alonso as far as like that diagonal ball that he does, but he's definitely like a unique player where you just say Toni Kroos and you have images of it in your head of like what he does. So yeah, Luka is he just doesn't have the legs, and he can't do what he used to do for 90 minutes anymore, or even 70.
Okay. All right. Next topic. This will be our finishing conversation. I'm trying to look through everybody's things, and I'm just like, because it's been ixnayed officially, so I feel like this is actually a good conversation to have because don't know how much longer we can chat it without people being like, oh yeah, you remember that? The blue card.
Oh God.
Don't get me started on this.
I think he might. Spoiler
So
alert.
the reason why I'll just start here. The reason why I hated it is one, just because English refereeing is just as awful as it is. Because in rugby, because that's the whole thing. In rugby, it's blah blah blah. And while in rugby, they very much use the video cameras. You can hear the dialogue between the refs. Like there's a whole level of transparency and trust in everything that is based off the referee wants the game to go as smoothly as possible. Nobody thinks that about English refs. So that already is why the blue card can never work.
Can you imagine the type of horse shit that they would start blue carding if that actually was in like, I don't even mean like in the Premier League. I mean like down in League One. Like it's going to be the most unwatchable. It would have been the most unwatchable because you would have been getting blue cards for like, you know, that little moment of like,
Yeah.
that wasn't me. To get you blue carded probably.
Yeah.
Well, I doubt they'd have like a VAR to check that and
Right.
all the stopping. It would just, and also half the reason in rugby, the way that it works is you get sin bend, and during that sin bend, they look at it and they'll tell you partially wade through it. Hey, either we're going to elevate it or you can just kind of come back. And the yellow card, can you give a yellow card immediately? I feel like that's something that you need to give after a couple of warnings. There's just so much that a ref will have to be keeping track of in order. Yes. It's just nasty work.
It's really simple, and it's just mind blowing that this is even being contemplated. It's just like, you know, the games are getting longer because VAR, you got to check, double check, you got to talk here, you got to do this. And this would just extend the game even more. And there could be some kind of like tactics with this because, you know, the player goes off, goes back on, you know, do they do it on purpose? The rest of it, you know, it's just, it creates
time
more issues and the game is just supposed to be simple. You know, leave the rules, just leave this alone. Like, why are we adding more? Like, what? It's just going to take away the entertainment value.
The demand for? I mean, look, I get the demand for VAR, but where's the outcry for any of this stuff? I don't even know where
there isn't one.
Hasn't wants any of this, and hasn't wanted any of the changes we've implemented. I think a lot of people probably wanted VAR, but they wanted it to work. Like I think about half the people probably saw it as what it was, but I think there were people that thought VAR would actually bring good to the game, and it hasn't. But that's the only thing I can think of that anybody even really wanted.
But like, I think VAR, you know, its first implementation was something like goal line technology, right?
Yeah.
It's in a way that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah.
And I think the problem that we all have with it as fans is the fact that the game is growing increasingly subjective about matters that are supposed to be objective.
Right.
And blue cards, in my mind, are kind of the ultimate point of that, right? Where it is at a referee's discretion to dismiss a player for up to 10 minutes. Like, first of all, as an Arsenal women's fan, Katie McCabe would never see the field, and that's a personal nightmare for me.
No, she gets away with too much. She gets away with everything.
She would get a yellow 10 minutes in, and then 8 blue cards, and just not play. It would suck. But my point being that, like, it just introduces another element of not only things for referees to complain about, but things for fans to complain about. Like, for how long have there been accusations of, you know, certain referees favoring certain teams? I know Chelsea fans have a thing against Anthony Taylor. I know City fans aren't always fans of Michael Oliver. As an Arsenal fan, I've had a long-standing bias against people like Kevin Friend and John Moss, right? To the point where, like, folks like Sport Bible are publishing reports on which referees referee the harshest against certain teams and the easiest against others. And I think adding like timed suspensions to the list of potential punishments there, just it increases kind of that fervor to the point where it puts PGMOL under more fire than they already are. And that's, frankly, they've got to sort their act out on the shit they've already got a referee. Like, it's just another element, and it doesn't feel like it's contributing to the quality of the game in any way.
Yeah, and read the room. Like, you're already having trouble with VAR and everything else. Like, why even sit down and think about this and just kind of even put it out in the air? Like, what are we doing? It's so frustrating. Like, it really is. And I agree everything you said, Mac. Like, it's just from a fan perspective, like, you know, VAR is kind of creating this gray area with rules that have been around for years. And then you want to introduce something else that could just be, you know, controversial or whatever. And it muddies up the game. It muddies up the experience for the players, the refs, the fan. It won't work. It shouldn't even be considered. So
hearing all of what you said, I'm pushing it through. Blue card's a thing. Next season, who is the player on your club that gets blue carded first?
Oh, Jude Bellingham.
And can you even think of a scenario or situation as to what it is?
I mean, I'm stuck between two minds in an Arsenal context here. Well, honestly, but again, if we're sticking players, I'm sure the way he manages, he wants to be on the pitch. I mean, bro, he is the quintessential 12th man. But I think from an Arsenal perspective, it's either going to be someone like Bukayo Saka, because he's going to get kicked to shit for about 20 minutes, retaliate once, and then get blue carded for it. Or it's going to be someone like Benjamin White, which pains me to say, because he has been a secret shithouse for us for about 2 years, and it went under the radar. And then one asshole posted a Twitter comp of him just being a shithouse for 10 minutes, and he's not been able to get away with anything since then.
It's those tweeted eyebrows.
What I think.
Once I saw those eyebrows, I knew he
not
was
to mention the spray tan.
That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot.
You look at him, you know he's a little shit house. There's no way.
He's a little rat, man, and I love him because he plays for my team. Playing against him would be the most unbearable exercise. You
said this better than I thought of when I put it in the doc. You're right. A big part of blue cards is to get rid of shit housing, and that's not for the game to do. That's for angry fans on social media to do.
Exactly.
Shout out DT.
Yes.
He's out here. He says he's definitely living that deep fried filter life.
Do not shout out DT, by the way. Not a good decision.
Shithousery is part of the game. Yeah. There are players that live and breathe it and make a name for himself. We had Pepe. He would get blue carded,
bro,
all the time.
In the Prem right now, Bruno Guimaraes would get blue carded for 70 out of the 90 minutes. That dude. Oh.
Yeah, you just why would you penalize somebody that brings that intensity, right? I mean, the game needs that. The game has had that. It causes great moments, memorable moments, right? Controversy, whatever. But like, don't send him off for 10 minutes just because he's doing his thing, right? Like,
there's also this group of fans. It's probably like it's sort of secondary, but the teams that are coming into a league, a Premier League or a Liga, and are 2 spots above the relegation zone, are probably doing something that gets you blue carded for the entirety of their game as a strategy. Like,
that's what I'm saying. It'll be attack.
Housery is part of the strategy for staying up in some of these clubs, and like taking it away just seems like, okay, well, now you have to overhaul your identity, and maybe that makes their games more watchable, but it takes away what this club is and what they've built themselves around. And if somebody wants to get 42 points in a season by diving and pulling people's hair. Who are we to tell them not to?
Sean Dyche's Burnley are quivering
Yeah.
in their boots. Like,
Right.
I mean,
Or
that
even
was a
at
decade
Letty.
of reputation. Yeah.
At Letty, like, could you imagine all the blue cards that he would have? There could be moments where they'd had 6 players on the pitch.
That's what they would be known for. And Diego Simeone would have that on the tactic board every match. Every match.
If you don't get one blue card a match, what are you even doing?
El Cholo.
Oh man. Well, I would love for each of you to let Shady Gang, our listeners, know how to find you. Josh, I want to start with you because I want you to let people know a little bit about the Motel Cowboy and everything that you're up to and you do.
Yeah. That's the books that have a sticker here. Well, so I come from the branch of Americana music that they call Red Dirt, and that's out of the Midwest. Although it has kind of gone around the country and is giving some people hope that I can't tell yet if it's false hope or real hope that the world of actual country music might change to be actually good again, because the songwriting is very folky and the music is very in your face. And so I wrote a book in 2020 called Red Dirt, and it did really well. And so then last year I followed that up with one called the Motel Cowboy Show. And you can find me motelcowboyshow.com, and at that handle on Twitter and Facebook, and I believe Instagram is actually the Motel Cowboy Show for some reason. But it's not hard to find if you remember those 3 words in that order. That book is about the cowboy poetry of the American West that has turned into a real thriving roots rock scene, and its contributions to music as a whole. Artists like Reckless Kelly are heavily featured, and I am currently in the process of writing the next one, which will come out in December. But if you go find me out there, I will tell you that announcement's coming out probably about the first or second week of April, with a banger of a profile and excerpt that I'll share in Rolling Stone. So if
Let's go.
yeah, exactly. You might be.
That's
He's actually the
sweet,
first
man.
person that
That's
I told
really
something
cool.
that's
That's cool.
Josh is one of the most like low-key, amazing people that I have been able to connect with, and I appreciate whenever he can come on because, like I said,
I like
he
this
is
thing of
always
like being like, it's like it almost, my life I would describe as like almost famous. Like I'm all like, if these bands that I wrote about and they're getting there were just slightly more popular or slightly had more traction, I could probably be that character from that movie and book. But as it is, I'm just almost there. So if I ever write a memoir, that'll be what it's titled. But Motel Cowboy Show, you can find me, or my first initial and last name on any of the social networks is my personal account.
Yes. John?
Yeah, I did a big social media purge. I was in marketing and I just got away from it. And then I'm only on Threads right now, actively.
Yeah, baby, that's how I met him. Yes.
Footy Threads is up and coming. Let's get that up there. I'm at the John Tolbert, Jon. I'm not the biblical John. And yeah, that's it. I just started a newsletter called Life's a Pitch. This a quick hit of this things I'm interested in the football world, news, goals, kits, whatever I'm feeling that week. I'll have a lot to talk about this week, so make sure you check that out. Life's a Pitch.
Go and let them feelings out on Jude. Go and let them feelings out on Jude.
Yeah,
We know what it's about.
Great title, too. That's a classic,
Yeah,
my
life
friend.
is a
That's
pitch.
amazing. Life is a pitch.
Mac, let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, gang. Y'all already heard from me about the Arsenal Cannon podcast. We also have a blog attached. Feel free to head on over to weloveyouarsenal.com, formerly .co.uk, but we recently got a little upgrade on there. Me and the boys and a bunch of young writers that work with us just publishing Arsenal content on the regular. Socials, hit me up, Twitter or Instagram at MacJohnson22152. Fun random numbers for people to memorize and forget immediately. Yeah, man. Been a pleasure being on, and if anyone is in DC and is looking for a free beer, feel free to slide into my Twitter DMs. I do work for a brewery that goes for all the folks on this podcast, and anyone else who's interested, man. I mean,
Sharpie
it's my
Charlie
job.
needs
It's
to
my
hit you up
joy.
on that.
I'm gonna
I'm
do
taking
that. I
it
got
off
family out
Bro,
there, man.
come
So,
on,
yeah.
get the
Our
people out here.
pod bro will have. Hey Mac, and speaking of brother,
Yeah,
we're gonna
talk
be
to me.
our clubs are going to be seeing each other in the latter part of this month, I believe.
Yes, they are.
We need to go ahead and collaborate a little bit later in this month.
Well, I believe my Twitter DMs might mention that March 27th show I may be making a
It might
reappearance.
already
So
be happening.
there's
Let's
stuff in the
go.
works. That's what we're
Yes.
saying. So
Let's
yeah,
go.
Yep. I'm gonna
maybe
have
we
him and
can
Byron.
see if we can collab with who's the other kid? Mitch Potter, Colorado kid, big Arsenal fan, lovely fella. We can get him on too, man. That would be a
Well,
blast.
we've had Mitch on a few times. He's the homie.
He's the boy.
So we want to change it up. Well, I'm
I like
tired of
it.
Mitch.
Well,
I'm tired
listen,
of Mitch.
if I'm the fresh new pretty face, I can't complain about that. I'll take that all
You
day.
bring games, you bring good stuff, fun
Yeah, man.
facts.
Come
Good
on.
convo with you, Mac. Good
Yeah, it
times.
was great.
Been a pleasure.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Josh, John, Matt. Shout out to everyone in Shady Gang on FanFest Live, on YouTube, on Twitter. You people watching the replay. You cute little creeps watching the post match. I mean, I understand you couldn't get here
That's
live.
right.
Everyone has their lives. You got things that you got to do.
Yep, we love you. We love you.
We will be back Sunday for a double match watch along. Manchester City women. They start
Huge.
at 10 a.m. Central Time. They play Tottenham in the FA Cup. 45 minutes later, Manchester City take on Liverpool. We will be there on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch doing a live watch along for both. So just tap in with us. We will be starting 30 minutes before City women start. That's 9:30 a.m. Central. What is that? 7:30 a.m. Pacific. Not 10:30 Eastern. That's hold on. 3 p.m. 3:30 GMT. Whatever that time zone is actually called. Shout out to everybody. We appreciate you. You know the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang,